Hey guys, welcome back to the Sports Stuff video. Today, we are starting our off-season plan series. I'm so excited. This is my favorite part of every single season, is the postseason planning for these teams and how to get them back on track to winning. So, if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the video. So, starting off with the Tennessee Titans, going from pick 1 all the way to pick 32. That's how I do it every season. So this is pre-NFL Combine offseason plans. There'll be pre-NFL Combine and post-NFL Combine. Because, guys, there's going to be Senior Bowls, there's going to be Shrine Bowls, East-West Bowl, Pro Days, Combine. There are 5 eras of the offseason to get guys from 5th round picks all the way up to 2nd round picks. Last year, we saw guys like Roger Rosengarten, that their stock really grew after the Senior Bowl and the Combine. It happens every year. So fully expected to happen again this year, and we are here for it. We are here. So let's start with the Tennessee Titans. So first off, they have positive $61 million in cap space for 2025 so far, but we're gonna make some more with some cuts and or trades. Kenneth Murray, we're gonna cut Kenneth Murray. This past year he had 71 tackles, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He's not a bad rotation pass rusher. But you really want Kenneth Murray to be that stand-up linebacker in coverage. Never really turned into that in Tennessee or in Los Angeles where he was drafted. He's god awful in pass coverage. He has a 54 PFF grade with 131 passer rating allowed when targeted. That is 16th highest in the NFL, meaning he is a bottom 16 starting linebacker in the NFL. Cutting him, you save $7.5 million in cap. That's a lot of money for Kenneth Murray that you can save. I think you can easily use that money, put it into another player, or maybe in another position group. I just think he's getting overpaid for his production, and you can save a lot of money moving on from Kenneth Murray. Next, we have Treylon Burks. We'll be trading Treylon Burks. This year he has 4 receptions for 34 yards, 0 touchdowns. I think the franchise and him have lost all trust in each other. It hasn't panned out in Tennessee. He was supposed to be the A.J. Brown replacement. Never worked out. He's still a threat in the passing game. I think there is still a role for him in the NFL. He could revive his career in another scenery. For me, I think a team like Buffalo could really like Treylon Burks. He's kind of like a C version of Amari Cooper, where he's a big body, good route runner, jump ball threat. So I think a Buffalo 2025 6th round pick gets it done. You save $2.6 million, but more importantly, you get him off the team, you get something back for him, because otherwise you're just going to cut him, or you're going to let him walk next year. Next, we have the restructures. So these are guys that I thought about cutting or trading, but I decided, you know what? Let's keep him on the team, and let's just figure it out for next year. So Harold Landry is the number 1 guy I'm going to be restructuring. Pass rusher, he's okay. He's not too bad. Restructuring saves us $8 million. Jeffrey Simmons, one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL. Very underrated. Restructuring him saves $11 million. Calvin Ridley, he is a fine, wide receiver this year. Wasn't too bad. $14.2 million. And L'Jarius Sneed, who had an injury all season, so I do expect him to bounce back next year. 11.4. So those 4 restructures opens up $44.5 million in cap space, meaning we go all the way from 65 to $117 million in free agency after the cuts, the trades, and the restructures. So, what is our first re-signing we're going to be doing? It is going to be Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. He had 32 receptions, 497 yards, and 9 touchdowns this past season. He's a great deep threat wide receiver. Both Mason Rudolph and Will Levis really liked Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. He's developed in Tennessee. Reward homegrown talent. That is something I think both every GM and every new coach need to do. They need to invest and reward talent that even if they didn't draft or want, that if they're playing good, they're on your team, show the guys in your locker room that even if you weren't part of our regime and you perform well for me, I'm going to reward you. That's how you get talent. That's how you get guys to stick around with your franchise for their entire career. He can be a great home run hitter for a rookie quarterback. You can still get better with more targets. So for me, giving him basically a cheaper Gabe Davis contract from last season, it's going to be a value because he only had 32 receptions for 497. Imagine he gets 60 receptions. That's a 1,000-yard receiver you're getting for $11 million a year. That's not bad at all. And again, 32 receptions with 9 touchdowns. That's what? Every 4 catches is a touchdown. Imagine 60, right? That'd be 18 touchdowns that guy would get. So I think it's a great value contract for the long term. Whoever your quarterback of the future is, we'll get into that in a couple of minutes here. But yeah, it's a 3-year, $38.5 million contract, 21.5 million guaranteed. That is 55% of it guaranteed. So a little lower than the 60% I usually aim for when I'm guaranteeing contracts. But with Nick Westbrook-Akine, you're really betting on him to continue to get better. So he gets 21.5 million guaranteed, yes. But it's basically a 2-year deal. If it doesn't work out, you can cut him that 3rd year, save yourself $12.5 million of cap space. But it's basically a 2-year deal for Nick Westbrook-Akine to continue to get better. He's only 25, 26. So you're really betting on him to get even better than what he is right now. Next, we have Mason Rudolph. I think re-signing Mason Rudolph wouldn't be the worst idea. This year, he had 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's been a solid vet quarterback this year. You saw the most success in your offense with Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. It lets Brian Callahan have a quarterback who knows his system stay for longer than 1 year. He can start next year if the rookie isn't ready, or he can be the backup to help the QB. Either way, I think it's a safe play for Brian Callahan to kind of keep the system going, right? Have someone who knows the system, who can come in and either start for you next year and feel comfortable in the system, or can back up a young quarterback and help teach them the system, make them feel comfortable. So for Mason Rudolph, it's a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. He gets a pay raise after having a pretty solid year, helping Nick Westbrook-Akine develop. So it's kind of like hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So we're going into free agency with $101 million. And again, I'm not going to do every single signing. I'm going to do like 4 or 5 key signings that I would do the first 2 days of free agency. So first off, I'm going after Devin White. This year, in limited action with the Houston Texans, he had 16 tackles and 7 run stops. I still believe he can be productive in the NFL. When he was with the Buccaneers, he was a potential Pro Bowler almost every year. He's not the top end talent we all thought he would be when he was drafted in the first round. That Super Bowl run really did raise my opinion of Devin White when the games mattered most. Him and Levante David were elite. Take a flyer on a guy with tools, kind of like what the Houston Texans did, but this time with a more expanded role. I would still draft linebacker. I'd probably draft him pretty high. It's a really rough linebacker core, but Devin White would then, in essence, replace Kenneth Murray for a lot cheaper. And I think, again, in limited action with the Texans, he did pretty well. I wouldn't mind getting Devin White on a 1-year, $2 million contract just to get him in the building. And if he can develop, awesome. Next, I'm going to go with Travarius Ward, the corner from the 49ers. This year, he had 43 tackles and 0 interceptions. I still believe Ward is a high-caliber cornerback. He had an awful off-the-field situation this year. Unfortunately, his 1-year-old daughter did die. They passed away, and he's already said that him and his wife have trouble staying in San Francisco, in California, because of the trauma that they have. So it's already saying, blanket on the wall, Travarius Ward is leaving San Francisco, not for on-the-field issues, but for off-the-field issues. So I hope that him and his wife can kind of deal with that situation in a healthy way. I hope they get better, because that's an awful situation for him to go through. Get him on a bargain contract to pair with Snead. He had a down year. Again, warranted a down year, but get a corner opposite of L'Jarius Snead who can compete, right? Be that cornerback number 2. You get him on a 3-year, what is that? $34.5 million deal, about 9/18/21, about 65% of it is guaranteed, so a little higher on the guaranteed money, but he's a good corner, man. He is aging out of his prime, but I think he is definitely worth having on a pretty good contract and give him another chance in the NFL. Next, we have Joseph Asai. Joseph Asai had 27 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 31 pressures as a pass rusher this year. He's proven to be a solid rotation edge. In Cincinnati, this is one of the main reasons Lou Anarumo was fired, which I still disagree with, but this is one of the main reasons he was fired. He was playing veteran talent over the younger guys who deserve chances, who are better. So he sat behind Sam Hubbard nearly the entire year. But in his rotation minutes, played really well. He has connections to the Tennessee staff, obviously. It's a solid 1-year flyer. He can either start day 1 with Arden Key walking, or maybe he just comes in as a rotation guy. But I see him starting day 1, and kind of like Hassan Reddick in 2021 with the Panthers, going from a rotation guy to getting 10, 11 sacks and getting a payday. And maybe it's a payday with the Tennessee Titans, but getting him, hey, get in the door. We know you. We like you. I was part of the staff that drafted you and helped develop you. Come in, be our starter. And then if you have a 10, 11, 12 sack season like Hassan Reddick in 2021, we'll pay you the money to stay. But I think 1 year, $4 million, fully guarantee it, is how you get Joseph Asai in the building. Next, we're going to go with Mekhi Becton. Getting tackles has to be one of the number one priorities of the Tennessee Titans group. Mekhi Becton in Philadelphia, no dub, played well. He has a 75 PFF grade, 64 pass blocking, 75 run blocking. Again, no doubt he improved. Philadelphia is the number one O-line in the NFL. Their coaching staff is amazing. So grab him after a solid season, right? Don't pay him multiple years, a big contract. Say, hey, come in 1 year, $5 million, fully guaranteed. We'll continue to develop you. We have Bill Callahan, one of the best O-line coaches in the NFL. So you come in from Philadelphia, one of the best O-lines, to Tennessee, to start day one. Philadelphia's not going to pay you. Well, give us one really good year. We'll give you a potential extension. And you might have found your franchise right tackle doing this. So for me, he's already getting a $4 million bonus from New York. That's why Philadelphia got him so cheap. He's still on that little bit of a deal. So as you can see, he already has a $3.6 million bonus. So you get him for basically $2 million you're paying him. For 1 year, $5 million, fully guaranteed. So they come in, start at right tackle. If you play well, we'll give you a multi-year extension. And yeah, like I said, I'm not doing every single signing. There'd be a lot more signings on top of this. But I got them to positive $82 million through all these moves. And that's with signing a new starting right tackle, a new defensive end, a new corner, a new linebacker, extending your wide receiver and quarterback. Like, that's with getting guys who are of importance to this team to stay. So yeah, positive 82. The era, I mean, not the era, the aura around the draft is you want to have $9 million to sign your draft class. So you have 82 million minus 9, that's $73 million. You want to be probably at positive 3 or 4 million by the end of off season. You also want to have a little bit of playing room with guys who gets cut, guys you want to trade for during the season. So you have about $70 million to play with rest in free agency. That is 3 really good players, 5 solid players, 10 roster guys, right? That's a lot of money to play with that I gave them. So with the draft, here's what I would do with the draft. This is obviously in accordance with the players that I signed and all that. So I'm not gonna sign, I'm not gonna draft a right tackle. I got Mekhi Becton at right tackle. That's why I'm giving you guys a heads up. That's why you don't see me drafting a right tackle. So 1-1, I'm going Cam Ward. I think he is absolutely the only quarterback I would take at number 1 right now. To me, number 1 quarterback in this class. He's really poised in the pocket. Sometimes to his detriment, but he's very confident. Can throw a consistent deep ball. Works through his progressions. Is even better when in shotgun compared to play action. And guess what? Tennessee runs a lot of shotgun. He has 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions when passing, 20 plus yards downfield. He will love Westbrook, Akine, and as you can see in the 4th round, Jalen Noel, another deep threat. I think Cam Ward, with this offensive line, he has the confidence to stay in it, stay in the pocket, deliver the ball, and just move down the field. And again, loves a deep ball. You have one of the better value contracts of a deep ball in the NFL now. Then at round 2, pick 35, grabbing Princely Umamelan. To me, Umamelan is a absolute gem of a pass rusher from Ole Miss. He fits the scheme as a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's become more refined every single year in college football. He excels in generating pressure, and then he converts those pressures into sacks. He has a 25% of his pressures result in a sack in 2025. That is an elite number. That's like Myles Garrett numbers in the NFL he was doing in college football. So while it is a little easier in college football to do that, having 25% of your pressures result in a sack is phenomenal. So Princely Umamelan from Ole Miss, that stacked defensive line, you got one of the best pieces from that, who fits your scheme as a 3-4 outside linebacker. Then at 102, grabbing Jalen Noel from Iowa State. Again, a great deep threat that plays both outside and in the slot. I can see him and LeJounte, as you see at the end of the 7th round, I grab LeJounte Wester as well. I can see him and LeJounte tag team in the slot position, but he excels in the middle of the field at any depth, really, but mostly 20-plus yards downfield. A quarter of his yards were yards after the catch, so he can hit that second speed and burn your corners of safeties. So again, him, Westbrook Akine would be an elite wide receiver duo of deep ball threats. Then at 119, grabbing Connor Colby from Iowa. He slots in as a day 1 starter. He runs a similar outside zone run scheme at Iowa that Tennessee does. So it's a scheme fit, it's a need, perfectly combined at 119. Every year with more snaps, he's gotten better. That's what you want to see in these late round picks for me. Then Michael Tafe, he can develop behind Amani Hooker, maybe even start opposite of him. He had 19 stops in the run game, so not afraid to get dirty. He did allow a little too many receptions, but never let them get away from him. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this year. And obviously that clip is going viral of him screaming after losing to Ohio State. That means he's a competitor. He hates losing. He wants to win. I think that's exactly the mentality the Tennessee Titans need. I think he'd be a great fit for the Tennessee Titans, going from Texas to them. Then at 166, I don't think this is possible now, but this draft was done before that semi-final game. Nick Singleton in the 5th round, not happening. There's no way that happens. But he's a great tandem running back with upside to blossom. He was at best with outside handoffs. He can put his helmet down and get inside yardage. As we saw, he has really good vision. In their loss to Notre Dame, 3 touchdowns alone, both outside and inside. He's just a great player. There's no way he goes at 166. He's probably a top 150, top 120 pick. But Nick Singleton, I think it's a great pick for the Tennessee Titans if he does slide down to 166. Him, Tajay Spears, that's a pretty good. Oh, him and Tony Pollard, sorry, would be really good. Then Kareem Reed. You guys are going to see me. I love Kareem Reed from Utah. He's been a solid starter, rotation linebacker for years. Good size at 6 foot, 226. Can maybe play as a hybrid safety, but I think he ends up more as a special teamer and a package guy. Good coverage, good run stopper. That's the type of dudes you want to take in the 6th round, guys that have a specialty. And speaking of guys with a specialty, at 238, LeJontay Wester. He's a great slot receiver for a 7th round pick. He has the burners as well to take it to the next level. I see him more as a chain mover for Cam Ward, where Jalen Noel and Westbrook-Ikhine are busted top over the defense. LeJontay Wester gets those 5, 6, 7-yard catches. Was at best within 10 yards and just being a red zone first down guy. He has a little bit of a smaller frame to be an outside guy. 5'11", 167. That's not ideal for your X or Y. But again, for your slot receiver, I would love LeJontay Wester with Cam Ward. With those accurate middle-of-the-field balls, man, I would love LeJontay Wester, Jalen Noel, and Cam Ward playing together with Nick Westbrook-Ikhine and Calvin Ridley. That is a 4-man wide receiver group that I think could be really good for Cam Ward in his rookie year. But yeah, that's my offseason plan for the Tennessee Titans. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what guys would you trade for, cut, or draft that'd be different for the Tennessee Titans. And I'll see you guys in the next video for the Cleveland Browns offseason plan. I'll see you guys later. Peace and bye.